Next week is going to be a very busy week. You can see we have lots of red folder news next week. On Monday, we have a red folder news on GBP. And then on Tuesday, most importantly, we have USD CPI, right? And we already know that is one of the biggest news events if you are trading the US dollar. So Tuesday is going to be a very volatile day. Then Wednesday, we also have CPI for the GBP. Then on Thursday, we have unemployment rate for Australian dollar. We also have a red folder news on GBP, and we have core retail sales and all of those good stuffs, unemployment claims on US dollar. Then on Friday, we have red folder news for Great Britain pounds and the US dollar, right? So it's going to be a very volatile week, and you should keep that in mind. Now let's go to technicals. We'll be kicking things off today with gold. Now gold, last week I called our attention to the fact that price is ranging between $2,074 and $2,016, right? However, last 2 weeks we closed with a bullish engulfing candle, which I really didn't like, considering the fact that last month actually closed with a bearish candle. So last week we've seen a red candle close. So guys, remember I said for me to be confident selling, right, I could scalp between these two zones, right? I could get in and out of trade if I'm trading gold. But for me to be able to jump into this trade and hold for a long time, I'd like to see the 2016-15 area taken out, so that I can now sell and hold on until we come to 1980 areas, right? Now let's go to the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame last week, price was trading around here, and remember this was NFP candle from last 2 weeks. So when I spotted that NFP candle break below 2039 area and started pushing back, I called your attention to the fact that I'll be expecting price to fall from that zone at least until we come into this trend line below, right, that confluences with the 2016-15 areas. As you can see, price played out exactly like that. If you think I'm lying, look at what I said in last week's video. I'll be expecting a bearish continuation from around here into this trend line or into the 2015 or 16 area. All right, so welcome back, guys. Price played out exactly like that and bounced off from that zone, went back to the previous entry area and still sold off again. So now what I'll be expecting to see next week is for price to finally break below this trend line. So if we break below this trend line and break below the 2016-15 areas, then I'll be looking for a pullback and a bearish opportunity into 1980 areas, right? However, for me to buy and hold long term, I'd like to see price take out 2039 area for me to be able to buy and hold at least until price comes all the way up to around the 2074 regions, right? However, based on my day trading strategies, I could easily place trades within this zone for quick scalps, quick 2-to-1 on the 15 minutes time frame and stuffs like that. So that is my buy and sell scenario on gold. Next on my list is DXY. So on DXY, price was trading around here last week, and I called your attention to the fact that I would like to see price push up until we come into this green zone above here. Now price came there and we are beginning to see rejection. So I'd like to see price pull back into these areas here, right? I would like to see price drop back into these areas here before we continue the upward push on the dollar index. Now let's check out the 4-hour time frame so that we can see our zones clearly. So on the 4-hour time frame, I'll be expecting a pullback into this region on dollar index. I'll be expecting something like this. Let me pull up my arrow. A pullback into this region before we continue higher. All right, if that happens, my next target is all the way up. All right, if I squeeze left, this area will be my next target. Let me put a line there here. So 105.972 will be my next target. So I'd like to see a pullback into here. So basically what I'm trying to say is next week I would like to see a sell to buy scenario on dollar index. What if we fail to get this pullback into this region, right? So what I would like to see is for price to take out this resistance level here, give me a new higher high, breaking above this high on the 4-hour time frame, then come back for a pullback, then I'd like to see dollar index rally all the way to the same target. All right, that is what I am looking at on dollar index. Now let's go to euro USD. Let's go to the daily time frame on euro USD. So on the daily time frame, remember last week price was trading around here, and I was like, I'd like to see price fall back into this green zone, which is 107232, right? I mentioned this last week, and price did exactly that and started bouncing off. Now that price is bouncing off, I'd like to see price on this daily time frame pull back into the 1.08371 area before another sell, right? Something like this before we drop into here and then further down into this monthly target here. If you watched last week's video, you remember why I pinpointed 1.05666 as my monthly target, right? So if you can pull back into here, I'd like to see that sell off from that zone to this zone. And why this zone? Because that zone has been tested multiple times looking left. All right, you can see price has reacted to that zone significantly before. All right, now I'm just going to delete that arrow. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. So for price to give that pullback before the next drop, we have a roadblock on the 4-hour time frame, right? Price is currently trading at a resistance zone. So two things can happen next week. We could easily just see price sell off from this zone all the way down. All right, we could see price sell off from this zone maybe to this green zone as our first target, which is 1.07218, right? And then the next zone, which is our monthly target, all the way down here. All right, so that is a possibility because price moves from levels to levels, right? Following proper market structure. From this top here, you can see a low, a lower high, a lower low. So this could be a lower high, right, for price to drop to the downside, right? But going by the daily time frame analysis, let's say price is committed to making its way to this gray zone before the drop, then I'd like to see price take out this green zone, give it a retest, and make its way to this trend line that confluences with this gray zone before we drop to the downside. You need to think in probability, right? Where is this trend line above coming from? Let me squeeze out my chart. You see, I captured it from the top here. This is the second touch. After the first touch, there was a complete sell-off. Second touch, complete sell-off. So if it comes for the third touch, of course, I'll be expecting another sell-off, right? So but just bear in mind, we could easily sell from here. If I see an entry opportunity here, I'm going to sell, right? Or if we break above, I could buy into this gray zone, which is 1.08382 area that confluences with this trend line also before I start looking for sells. Let me go to the 1-hour time frame so that we can put this into perspective. I only trade the euro dollar, so that's why I'm giving detailed analysis on this, right? So I have a counter trend line below. So let's say price is willing to respect this gray zone, then I'd like to see price take out this counter trend line below. Why is it a counter trend line? Because price is falling to the downside and the trend line is below. So price breaks below it, then I'd like to see price continue downwards until we come into 107232 as my first target and all the way down here as my second target. But if price breaks and closes above this green zone, gives it a retest, then I'll be looking for buys, a short-term buy until we come into this trend line before I'll be looking for a long-term sell, right? But overall on Euro USD, I am bearish. Now let's look at GBPUSD. I don't have much to see on GBPUSD. I'll go to the daily time frame on GBPUSD. So last week, I rightly predicted that I would like to see price break below this zone. But if that happens, I would like to see a retest of this green zone before we collapse to this downside here, which is 1.23340 area, right? However, when price broke and closed, we went back for that retest, but broke back into the previous range, all right? So we may just make a push up before we eventually come back and break below this green zone once again. But for now, I have nothing much to say on GBPUSD, although I am overall bearish considering the fact that we just created a new lower low here, which is obviously lower than this on the daily time frame. So whatever happens, it will just be a minor pullback before we come back and break below this 1.25918 area. All right, but let's say Monday comes in and we maybe have a daily candlestick close below this area, then I'll be looking for sells to the downside, all right, if I'm to trade GBP USD. But overall, I am bearish on GBP USD. Now, next on my list, let's look at USDJPY. So USDJPY is currently trading at my targets, right? If you've been watching my videos, you know 149.295 is my target. So now price is trading at that zone. But let's go to the 4-hour time frame. So price pulled back into my zone, like I rightly said. And last week price was trading around here, right? So when price was trading around here, I took you all the way down to the 1-hour time frame in last week's video. All right, so price was trading above here. So I actually called your attention to the fact that I would like to see price drop back into this 1-hour zone before we buy off, right? If you think I'm lying, here's the video. So if price pulls back into here and I see my entry strategy play out, then I'm going to be buying until we come into 149.295. So welcome back, guys. So as you can see, price pulled back into that 1-hour region and we bought off from that zone, and now, like I said, we are trading at our overall target. So going into next week, I'll just plot a zone around here. I'll plot a zone around this region here. All right, so I'm going to give a buy and a sell scenario here. So yep, I'd like to see price sell into this green zone here, which is 148.745. Then it's going to be a short buy back to this level. All right, it's going to be a short buy back to this level. But if we break above this 149.295 area, then I will be waiting for a retest of that zone. Then I'll be trading all the way to the upside with all the way to the top here as my next level target. Let me put this line here. 151.409 will be my next target, right? So if price pulls back into this region, I'll be buying back into this zone, and if price breaks above that zone, I'll be waiting for a retest of that zone to buy and hold until we come into the 151.409 region, right? But what happens if price continues falling from this my initial target and breaks below it? Then I'll be looking for sells all the way down into 147.880, right? I like to give my analysis. I like to give probabilities in my analysis, right? So that is my view on USD JPY. So AUD USD is also trading on top of a major level, right? Let me go to the daily time frame. So price is currently trading at this level right now, right? And I mentioned this last week that it's unwise to sell above that level. I'd like to wait for price to break and close below here, give me a retest before I start selling, right? But as it's pointing upward now, I'd like to see a buy to sell scenario. So I'd like to see price probably rally all the way to around 0.65511. All right, so I'd like to see something like this. Where's my arrow? I'd like to see something like this, a pull up to this area before we eventually break below. All right, and my next target, if we break below here, will be around, let me put this line here, will be around 0.63502. all right, so I would like to see a buy to sell scenario on AUD USD. Yes, I'm on the daily time frame, so you could switch over to your lower time frame and observe what price does at these price levels, right? Buy to sell scenario. So the where I'll be expecting the sell off from will be around 0.65511 down into 0.63502. Overall on AUD USD, I am bearish. All right, I believe CPI is going to set the tone for next week, and thankfully it's happening as early as Tuesday next week. So even if you don't place any trades, let's say Monday, Tuesday, until after CPI, CPI is going to give us clarity on what direction we should be trading in All right, so that will be all for today's video. If you are yet to like this video, please do so now. And if you are yet to subscribe, also smash that subscribe button. Make sure you also share this video. And if you also want to learn how to do this, because analysis is one thing, execution is another. If you want to be able to do your analysis properly and also improve on your trade execution and risk management, trade psychology, and all of those good stuffs, we still have some spot left in the Let's Trade Academy, right? Just go to letstrade10x.com and get enrolled in our mentorship program. And if you are not interested, it's totally fine. So just make sure you keep watching our videos. Thanks for staying to the end of this video, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye.